This week, we have a full-blood traveler who has been in more than 30 countries in the last 3 years. Kai is a 25-year-old from England who wishes to spend every birthday in a different country. In this talk, we share our learnings about traveling and talk about his passion for languages, other places, and cultures.
No, it's just a normal conversation. It's not like I'm gonna prompt you something.
Like you might say how many countries you've been to. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but you could answer like something north of 15 or something.
Yeah, definitely north of 15.
So, is it about 15?
No, it's about 35, something like that.
See,
Yeah.
right. I don't need the exact number.
No, it's like 730s. 730s.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah. So you said you have traveled pretty much the last 3 years.
No, the 3 months stopped. 3 months on accident stopped. Works like a madman to full-time travel.
Okay, right. How does one accidentally travel?
I went on a holiday for a week
Yeah.
with the boys, Czech Republic, and just didn't want to go home. So I just didn't go home. There's like,
Did you have something booked, like a plane?
I had my plane booked home, so it was like a Tuesday to Sunday. Had my flight home on Sunday, just didn't get the flight. Booked a different plane to Armenia. It was the cheapest flight out, was out to
Yeah.
Armenia. Then did Armenia, Georgia. Was meant to go home for a dentist appointment, and just didn't. And then volunteered for 2 months, kind of by accident.
By accident.
Yeah, I just kind of
Like one does. Right. It's a funny story.
Yeah, it's traveling. You kind of get lost in where to go next.
Yeah, but you can only do that if you don't have like huge responsibilities. Like
Yeah, definitely. I do have responsibilities, but I'm lucky where they've kind of gone past me needing to be there constantly.
what do you mean? Like
So both my parents are medically fucked.
all
It's
right.
the only technical term I can use, basically.
Yeah.
So I look after them, but now they are independent enough where I don't have to be at home.
Yeah. Okay. And usually other responsibilities are a job.
Yeah.
How did you manage to?
I was quite lucky at the time. I had a part-time job where I could work up to 72 hours a week.
Right.
So I could have 3 months off. I could not work for 3 months with no questions because it was part-time, 0-hour contract.
Yeah.
But when I was working 72 hours a week to get the money.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What was the hourly rate for that, and what was your job? What
Can't
did you
remember the hourly rate, but it was I did 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., 12-hour night shifts.
Yeah.
Weekend was like 250 quid a night. Weekday was about 180 quid a night. But there's no ship. I worked on ships, driving cars on off ships, like the brand new cars.
Oh, okay.
So if there's no ship, there's no money. If there's a ship, there's a lot of money.
Right.
So I just did that, and I was lucky that I was 0-hour contract, so I can just not work for 3 months. And I got back 2 days before my visa ended in Europe, 1 day before I was fired. I literally cut it at the last minute because traveling is a lot more fun than work.
That's right.
So, yeah, I was very fortunate with my job.
Yeah. I also met another couple where he worked on a oil platform for like 6 months on, 6 months off, or
yeah.
3 months on, 3 months off. And it sounds pretty much similar to what you have, like go, burn, and then after that, enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever go back to burn, because, oh my God, it takes a lot about you.
Okay, I was about to ask if you want or plan to go back to something similar.
No, I didn't see the sun for 4 months because I leave in the dark. I leave at 5 p.m. winter time, that's dark. Then get home at 7 a.m. I get home at 8 a.m., which is dark. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd rather just travel and do. That's like FIFO. Did he do fly in fly out work? The FIFO work in Australia?
Yeah, he did that in Australia. Yeah.
'Cause I'm looking at the offshore oil rigs, which I might do that because it is amazing money for traveling.
Yeah.
And it does give you a base camp for just a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy money. I don't remember. I don't want to state any wrong numbers, but it was like you could do this for a few years and then travel for 10.
Yeah, it's crazy money. Even in the mines, but the mines are quite hard to get because everyone works in the mines. everyone does the fly in, fly out for the mine work, so it's harder to get.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I want to go to the mines.
No. Mine work is definitely a bit different.
There's a reason why those people get a different retirement in Germany.
Yeah.
So, no. Nothing.
Germany's lovely though. I travel quite a lot of Germany. All of these sites are Munich, Nuremberg, Leipzig, Hamburg, Dresden, and Berlin.
Yeah. Why the east side?
It's what I ended up doing. It's what I was. From Munich, I was like, okay, I can go to Nuremberg. And then from Nuremberg, I was like,
Or it just happened?
yeah, I've seen Dresden already. I've seen Berlin already. So I can go Leipzig, pop back into Prague, because I love Prague. That's why I volunteered. I love that place. So I went up the coast. Well, not the coast. I went up the border line. And I was meant to travel back into England. This is when I went back into Poland because it's cheaper. And then back into Prague because it was just a nice place. And I asked to volunteer. A lot easier to do that than go home.
Yeah, believe it or not, but volunteering to me was became a concept to me here.
Here?
Friends traveled, not here, but in this whole journey.
Yeah.
Before, it wasn't really something I knew existed or was looking out for. I knew of workaways, but not really of this kind. You just go to the hostel and work, and then you have your bed safe, basically.
Yeah, free accommodation, free laundry. It's very useful. Obviously, it's quite annoying that most places actually do it for a month. Like, the most common is a month. It's a long time to go.
Yeah.
I'm staying here for a month. You really need to choose a place to stay for a month.
Yeah.
Which quite sucks. But I was quite lucky in Mexico. I got volunteered for 2 weeks, just waiting for a flight. I just asked, I've got a flight in 2 weeks. Can I wait? They took me on. So some hostels are nice about it.
Yeah. I think most, if they have space, if they have work available, they will take you in.
Yeah. Most hostels, especially like in high tourist areas like Mexico and stuff, they're pretty much always looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
You just might have to wait a week for someone to leave because it's always a rotating thing.
Yeah, it's like here as well.
So someone's going to leave and then, if someone's leaving in a week, we can have you for, then someone's coming in 3 weeks. So you've got a 2 week interim where they need a volunteer.
Yeah.
So they might as well say, yeah, why not?
Yeah. Did I get that right? Before we started recording, you said that in between you stopped traveling for your girl or girlfriend?
For my ex, yeah. Terrible fucking decision. My first time traveling, 2.5 months in, just fell out of love with traveling, got more lonely because it was my first time doing solo. Well, second time doing, but for my first big travel, and I just got lonely and thought about home, and then I flew home and then realized traveling's a lot better.
You need to walk me through that process. I don't understand that.
So I just broke up with my ex to travel because I wanted to go on my own. I wanted to be free. I wanted to not give a shit about anything.
All right.
Because my parents have had a lot of life where I'm always giving a shit about home.
Yeah, so you broke up to travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I broke up with traveling.
To get back with her? And then you broke up again because you felt like traveling was...
it just didn't work out. It was just, after traveling, it's very cringe, I guess. I don't know what the word is, but I didn't see life the same way when I was before traveling. But after traveling, I was like, there's so much more to see than just the same place. Even though England's a beautiful place to travel, but I love learning languages and the different culture. Same for you, I assume.
Yeah, definitely.
Going here,
that's my soul.
Yeah, and Europe's so easy to do it because every country's a 5-hour drive away.
Right, yeah, okay, you can see that way, but I have not traveled that much in Europe, to be fair.
It's expensive.
That, and I will save that for later. Like, you can easily do that when you're like 40, 50, do it on
in a van or,
in a van, A, and B, like, it's so close by, but I don't see myself traveling to Botswana or Taiwan when I'm 60.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, Eastern Europe is amazing. I went to Serbia, what's the furthest southeast I went. And I did basically France to Serbia to Latvia to Czech Republic in the countries in between. Yeah. It was probably the fastest travel I've done. It was 14 countries in 2.5 months. 2 months, 3 weeks of that. It was just stupid. I don't know what I was thinking.
So you're just doing like Pokemon, gotta get them all?
Pretty much I was like, hostel, 2 nights, right, bus, hostel for 2 nights, bus. Normally a night bus just to skip out on accommodation paying.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, I did Venice, but I did Venice for literally 7 hours because I used it as a stopover to get to Slovenia.
Yeah.
So there's places I didn't see properly, but places like Venice, I don't really have any want to see Venice.
Well, then that's fine.
Yeah, like the
If you
Venetian
regret-
Arsenal was beautiful, but it's also just so many tourists, which is catch-22 as a traveller, I think. You want to be the only tourist there, but everyone else wants to be the only backpacker there as well. So you go to places and you're like, I want to be the only backpacker here. I want to get the full local experience. But there's another person doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But would you agree, at least to me, it feels like there's a difference between a tourist and a traveler because, well, I have plans, I think they want to see, but I feel more ingrained, like I'm going a little bit deeper. I don't give a damn about the touristy stuff. I just want to know a little bit more about the culture itself.
Yeah.
And also take it a little more easy, like less plans. And when you're a tourist, you just have like a week or two, and then you need to do all the good stuff because you're on vacation. Now you have the time and spend a lot of money to get here. And for me, it's switched. Like I got all the time. I can take it any way I want.
Yeah, definitely. There's a difference between backpacking and backpacking and on holiday.
Yeah.
On holiday, you can kind of spend money. When you're backpacking, you gotta go, right, I have this amount of money. I'm probably going to spend more than this, but I need to really be careful about what I spend money on. And for me, I do go see tourist stuff because they're touristy for a reason.
Yes.
But at the same time, there's better things to see in countries. Like you can go to this one waterfall. There's like this very like all spoke about waterfall. You go an hour different way. There's another waterfall.
Yeah.
You haven't got to see that place, and you do see more culture as a traveler, as a backpacker, because you have to communicate with the locals more. Because as a tourist, you're normally in a hotel or you're normally in a resort or whatever, and you don't need to speak the language. Which it's difficult to learn language.
It is, and it's a totally different experience. Like the easiest thing you can understand is like the prices change depending on your knowledge of the language or knowledge of the culture.
Yeah. Tourist prices and gringo prices.
Yeah.
It is like in Brazil, I found they were very nice to tourists, especially when you head out. I did Carnival in Sao Paulo instead of Rio, and everybody was so nice to me because they were saying, why aren't you doing the touristy thing of being in Rio for Carnival? And I would have families come up to me and say, oh, come join our family for the party, and come join our family for the Bloquinho, come join our group for this party.
Yeah.
So you do get a lot friendlier if you're doing away from touristy areas.
Yeah.
Like a lot of tourists will come to Tunisia just for the wine. But then if you go to the lakes down south or the waterfalls up north, you get a completely different... And a lot of people speak to you... I don't know, in Bolivia, I don't know if you found in Bolivia people are a little bit more standoffish.
What do you mean by standoffish?
Like in Mexico, I went to a place called Comitán de Dominguez, which is just south of San Cristobal, and everyone was talking to me and my friend because we were the first people who were actually staying in the city. You're not doing a day tour.
Ah, right. Yeah.
But here, even if you do, a lot of the locals don't really talk to you. Like if I try and speak Spanish, my Spanish is terrible. In Mexico, people would try and talk with me. Here, they just kind of go, oh.
I can only speak for Tarija,
Yeah.
but for here, I feel like people were very approaching. I sat a lot of times in the squares, in the parks, and just played guitar, and people stopped by, asked if I could just listen in or play a song themselves. I feel like everyone here is either singing or playing an instrument.
Here, it's definitely a lot. It's so cultural here.
Maybe it was based on the guitar because they see, he shares something we share.
Yeah.
But in my experience, they were very open.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've only been on the border for quite a while, and here, but even then, I've just compared to Mexico and compared to Brazil, a lot of people aren't as talkative or don't want to try and talk with me because my Spanish is terrible.
Right. It really depends on your Spanish. Mine is not super great, but it works.
More conversational, I guess. Yeah, if you can speak like
basic conversational, I would say.
in like in Brazilian Portuguese, it was hard to go from Mexican Spanish to Brazilian Portuguese. But people found it funny, and people would like actually be more willing to help and explain.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I'll ask a question, they go, well, like whatever. Is what I found. But obviously, the level of Spanish changes. But it's nice to not being in a. There's different sides of it. Have you travelled English-speaking countries? Like, obviously you're German, but
Well, German, yeah, German's not really English speaking, but a lot of people do.
yeah.
Yeah, I traveled for 1 month in Scotland.
Where?
Scotland.
Scotland. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a road trip with tent and.
NC 500.
Huh?
The NC 500.
I have no idea.
Fair enough.
We just went where we wanted to, and spent like a month.
Beautiful place.
It is.
Yeah, the North Coast 500 is like the most touristy route. It's like basically the entire North Coast.
We couldn't get around that because we didn't have time.
That's the thing.
And we had like a third of the days we lost due to weather. So
Yeah, Scotland weather is unpredictable.
yeah.
Good fun though.
So this, and I was like 2 weeks in America for a student exchange. But yeah, and New Zealand. I fucking was in New Zealand for 7 months.
That's a long time to forget about.
Yeah.
So 7 months.
No, because to me it is obviously English speaking, but at this time I didn't feel like it. To me it was like, it might sound weird, but I just flew one time around the world and people were very similar to Germany, but they just all spoke English and my English is quite good. So to me it didn't feel like I was speaking English, even though I did.
Yeah. How do you feel about traveling English countries because I did America and Canada before here. Mm-hmm. And the experience is completely different. You can normally get away with more things in public transport wise because you can say, I don't know how it works. In Spanish, you can just say, no entiendo. So in Canada, it was a lot easier to just go to buses and go, oh, cannot pay by card. But here, they look at you and go, get off.
Let me think. Actually, I think I can play the other card here more.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea this works this way here. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
how should I?
True.
And I've got a feeling that in English-speaking countries, if you can speak the language as well, to me, it felt more like you're supposed to know.
Yeah, I guess I was quite lucky because I was in places where they were just friendly. I guess Canada as well. They're like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I guess I used the gringo card. Just, sorry.
Yeah. And I've got a feeling that people are way nicer here. Well, New Zealand was very nice as well.
Whereabouts in New Zealand?
Nice. People were
And
nice.
whereabouts in New Zealand?
All of it.
Okay.
Yeah. All of it in a van.
Nice.
I love that.
You do look like a van lifer.
I get a lot of things, but van life I've very rarely got. I get like surfer person from LA,
Definitely not LA. I'll be insulted.
rock star like guitarist I get as well. You look like a person who plays guitar. Yeah, I've got one.
You got a guitar, yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely they look like a van lifer. You
Right.
do look like a surfer, van lifer. They live on the coast surfing.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Take it as a compliment if you want. I don't know.
I'll take it as that. Anyhow, what I wanted to say is people are nice in New Zealand, very lovely, but I got the feeling that emotionally here in South America, you just put up the heat a little bit more. Like they're so much more welcoming, more inviting, more, you could say, touchy as well. Like, come here, give me a hug.
Yeah.
Obviously not with a complete stranger, but like a little bit of time. Like you mentioned with the families asking you to just join. And I think that's the biggest reason between English and Spanish-speaking countries to me. That what you also have in the culture ingrained in your mind.
The way we learn about South America in school is different to what it is. Like, I didn't know I just assumed Spanish for South America.
Yeah.
Apart from Brazil, obviously. You have Guarani in Paraguay, and you have, what's the language? There's a language here called as well. I can't remember what the actual Bolivian language.
Yeah. I don't remember the name of it as well, but
You don't get taught about it. You just get taught Spanish.
Yeah.
Obviously, different Spanish, and the fact that every Spanish is different. Chilean Spanish.
Oh yeah, that's a different language.
Yeah, like even people from Argentina go Chile and go, I don't understand what they're saying, which is crazy because it is still Spanish.
You know what's crazy? I started my journey in Chile with
You started with the hardest Spanish. That's difficult. What's been your favorite Spanish?
Huh?
What's been your favorite Spanish?
What's my favorite?
Like your
Spanish?
favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think probably the Spanish because the rules all apply.
Okay. Yeah.
You just don't use the second plural form for whatever reason, like the your plural.
Yeah.
You don't use that.
I thought, just two.
Hablas days doesn't work.
Yeah.
You don't say that. Just use the hablan, like to include other people. And after that, I would say Paraguay or Bolivia, because maybe it was also because I became more proficient. I could understand more, but it's easier to understand this because it's slower.
Yeah.
But it could also be like biased because I speak Spanish better now.
You had a few months of learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the time you learn something new. Obviously not every day something, but you cannot escape the language when you're traveling in
No.
environment.
And when you want to go to the local viewpoints, you have to like the collectivos or the buses. You have
Yeah.
to know. I think I prefer Brazilian to Spanish, which is really odd for most people. Don't know why. I just prefer to speak. I picked it up easier in my brain.
Yeah.
I remember more Brazilian than I remember Spanish. I did Mexico, then Brazil. And I love Mexican Spanish, but I just picked up Brazilian a lot faster, which is very odd for most people.
I don't see a problem with that. I've got a friend who traveled to Brazil in his 18 and 19 years. And yeah, he also just learned Portuguese and, just speaks Portuguese, and that felt easy to him at this point. So I don't think that's odd at all.
Yeah, a lot of people say Spanish is easier, but I remember more in Brazilian, which I guess I listen to more Brazilian music, which might help.
So what other languages do you speak?
I speak barely English.
Right, English, Portuguese.
Like I can have the basic conversations, but not anything more than that.
Well, I would count that because you could get around, and the basic conversation with enough hand and feet could always turn in some.
Yeah, it's all hand gestures and
some things don't work, but overall, I think as soon as you can speak the basics, you have that language.
Well, I love learning languages. I learn hello, how are you, and every country I go to, I try and remember at least hello, how are you. So when I meet someone in a hostel, especially when I'm working in a hostel, it makes people smile. I guess gives it more of a home. Like when I worked in Czech Republic, or volunteered, I guess. I travelled to South Africa for 3 weeks when I was 16. So that was 2016 and 2024. I did that volunteering, and someone from South Africa came, and I know a little bit of Zulu, more than I know. Zulu's probably like the language I know the most of out of all of them. Random phrases: hello, how are you? Like my brother, thank you. There's 2 different goodbyes. What's the time?
How do you say hello in Zulu?
Sawubona.
Sawubona?
Sawubona unjani bafo is like hello my friend, hello my dude.
Sawubona.
Unjani bafo, then ubani skati is what's the time. You have 2 different goodbyes, which I don't know any. My language isn't like amazing, but the 2 different goodbyes I think is so interesting. So if you're leaving and I'm staying, I say go well, and you say stay well. So you're leaving, you say stay well, and I'm like go well. Hamagachte, sadagachte.
It's funny, but it makes sense. Yeah.
You're not saying goodbye, you're going stay well, mate, or you're saying go well.
And if you're both leaving?
Go well.
Because you're both going.
You're both going.
And if we after this conversation just stayed here, we would say stay well if you just sit in front of me.
Yeah.
Just keep sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
But if you end conversation.
Yeah, if you end conversation and like say if I just say like I'm gonna go watch or go write my diary, but we're both staying here.
Yeah.
Just you wouldn't say goodbye in English. You just say chat a bit.
Yeah, it would be like, all right, thanks, and
Yeah,
then it fizzles out. But
Yeah, you wouldn't say goodbye.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say goodbye and start writing. You just say I'm gonna do this.
That's funny.
But I love learning the languages, and it's got me very lucky. I couch surfed in Whistler by accident again, and the reason they let me stay, the reason we started talking, the reason we became friends was because I know Kia ora, which is hello. I assume you traveled. You knew Kia ora from your travels.
No.
Kia ora is Te Reo, which is the Maori language. I think Te Reo, Te Reo literally means the language, I think. Kia ora is like hello, thank you, like no worries, like Kia ora. Then ko kai toko ingoe is my name is Kai. Technically, it means my name is food, because Kai means food in Te Reo. But it gets you friends, and like it makes people smile. When I met a Polish woman walking around Seattle, I said, jak se masz, jak masz na imię? How are you? What's your name? Just because it starts a conversation, and especially in hostels. I can go around a table in a hostel and know a few words. I don't speak the language. I don't claim to speak the language. I just know a little bit, because then it's like, it starts conversation, and then I listen to a lot of international music. As I was saying yesterday, I listen to a lot of German music, which is a very good interim to start talking.
Right, yeah. You always have something to start a conversation. After that, I think most people speak English in hostels, so you get 100 friendly points, and after that, just a normal conversation.
Yeah.
And you took the effort to learn, remember at least.
Yeah, I think remember, because like Armenian, I didn't learn Armenian.
Yeah.
I went there, it was Russian or Armenian. So I remember my hello, how are you in Russian, hello, how are you in Armenian.
Yeah, but still, that's still way more than the average person.
Yeah.
I just know it in the languages that I speak, and like a few odd words in other languages, but
Also, you're trilingual, I guess.
For my standards, I would count Spanish now to a language that I know.
Yeah.
I can use, so yeah.
Because I do hate English being my mother language, my mother tongue, because it's so.
You do.
I hate it because it's so easy to learn, in the sense of, if I want to practice German, yeah, I have to be in Germany, Swiss, Austria.
Yes.
If I want to practice French, I have to be in France, some countries in Africa, French Guiana. If I want to practice Welsh, I have to be in Wales. If you want to practice English, you can pretty much practice English everywhere in the world, even if that country hasn't got a strong English thing. So many movies and so many things are Americanized.
Yes.
So English is everyone's exposed to English a lot more than, say, I don't know a single German movie.
There are some, but it's not really like we're the big Hollywood for it.
Yeah. So I think that's why I hate English being mother tongue, because I'm in South America and I'm speaking English, not every day, but it's common just to use English.
Yeah.
Especially in hostels.
Yeah.
Where,
but you also get like an easy pass for this. Like you wouldn't need to learn another language, and most of the world would understand you. That's the flip side of that. But I understand that I feel quite gifted in the sense that if I didn't know German, I would not try to learn it.
Well, German's a hard language.
Yes, I would not learn it. In that sense, I'm happy that I have it. Just got it.
Yeah, because then Spanish is obviously widely spoken.
Yeah.
So you get Spanish, you've got Spanish and English, two biggest. Well, Mandarin's obviously bigger, but traveling wise, two biggest languages, Spanish and English.
Yeah, that's also why I went on this journey, like here in South America.
Well, I was meant to be in Southeast Asia.
By accident, you came here.
Kind of. I was
right. Okay, tell me about that accident.
I was meant to do. I was aiming to work in Hawaii, then South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Vietnam. That was my start. That was my plan to start off with. I didn't get volunteering in Hawaii. I got volunteering in San Diego. I was like, okay, I'll do America, and then I'll still do America to South Korea, Japan. So I did go to San Diego. I was aiming for Nashville. 1 for Jack Daniels, 2 for the music. And then I got to Denver because I met a guy in Czech Republic for 5 days, and he just let me sleep in his floor for 3 weeks. And then I didn't go to Nashville because the cheaper flight was Seattle. And okay, Seattle, I was like, I'm next to Canada. It's been 3 months. It's been 2 months since I've added a country to my list. So I said, oh, well, I'll go Canada, why not? And then did Canada, and then I was like, okay, so I can still do Canada, South Korea, Japan, or Japan, whichever way around it is. And then I ended up going Mexico. I don't really know why I went Mexico.
Did you flip a coin or something? Because
I just
it's quite
kind of-
far off.
Yeah, I just kind of looked on booked flights and I was like, oh, that's cheaper. And I've heard good things about Mexico. I not heard good things. I've heard it's a place to go, but then I hadn't heard much about traveling as a backpacker in Mexico. And I ended up just doing it and loved Mexico. And then I realized Carnival was soon, and I was like,
Real.
I worked with someone in Czech Republic from Brazil, from Sao Paulo, and I was like, I can go there and see him. It's been a year. So I said, Carnival seems pretty fun. Next thing you know, I was on a 48-hour trip to Brazil. And then I was in Brazil, and I said, well, I'm now in South America. There's no point leaving South America.
Yeah. So you took a very, very long detour.
Yeah, I mean, I will go Southeast Asia eventually. But now I'm thinking Mexico for Day of the Dead, do Central America because I skipped it, and then come back here for Carnival because it was so much fun. Have you done Carnival?
No. By the time it rolled around, I was in Buenos Aires, but it had like a lot of rain, so the things that were planned for it probably happened or smaller, but I didn't go because I didn't feel like standing and watching the stuff in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, Carnival, you kind of just give up with anything because no one cares. The whole city parties, and I did do Rio for after Carnival, but you have pre-Carnival, Carnival, after Carnival. It's like a month and a half event. Main Carnival's end of February to like 20th of February to the 5th of March. Something. But then the whole of February is like almost a party as well, which is crazy.
So you're just there for all of February and all of March, basically?
I got to Brazil 25th of February. I got there like as it started.
Yeah.
Because I had free accommodation for Carnival, so I wanted to make sure that was during main Carnival, which also why I did Sao Paulo, because I had free accommodation. And as a traveller, free accommodation, that's a no-brainer.
In my head, it's like, I'd say a third of the budget.
Yeah, I mean, traveling Mexico is a massive party town, so definitely in Mexico, my party, fiesta, drinking definitely was a lot of my budget. And then Carnival, which is obviously a lot of drinking, a lot of partying. And then you kind of get stuck in that mindset for a little bit. It's hard to get back out of like, during Carnival, you wake up, you're going out partying, you're having a beer at 11 a.m. Because it's Carnival, it's fine.
Yeah.
But then after Carnival, I struggle to get out of the mindset, and then the price of the alcohol goes up, different countries, and you get carried away with it. Mm-hmm. But accommodation that's why volunteering is so good.
Yeah.
It's a free accommodation.
So you've been in, you said 35 countries.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. What do you think all of the countries have in common? Is there something that they share?
No.
No?
No.
Could you group it somehow? Like I did before with like South America, a little bit more lovely.
There's cars everywhere.
Right, fair.
There's always a dangerous part of the neighborhood. There's always a dangerous part. That's pretty much it. People say, like, I told my mum I'm going to Bolivia. Well, I told our girls going to Bolivia a week after I got here, like, but like my parents don't know where I am, but when I tell them where I am, my mum's like, oh, watch out, Bolivia has a really high crime rate. And you think, so does London, so does Berlin.
Yeah.
Yes, it's different, but you can go anywhere and there's going to be crime. Like, you go to the town closest to me, Bristol, a city close to me, Bristol. It's not dangerous, but you walk into some parts and it is dangerous. So you have always a thing where there's dangerous parts everywhere. So I guess I can say that.
Yeah.
There's always a dangerous part.
Yeah.
Not the question I thought you were going to ask, Fair. I thought you were going to say, what's your favorite country?
No, I don't give a damn because that will differ.
Is there a way you can collect them? Like, is there a way you can?
What do you connect?
Can you describe what countries? Is there a way you can?
What connects that? Yeah. What all countries share, in my opinion. I would say, like, good and bad people. The most drastic I had was in Paraguay. The
The
police
most what,
officer
sorry? The most.
drastic.
Okay.
The most drastic was in Paraguay, where I remember it, because there was a police officer who was like, "Oh, you fail. Put your shirt back on." It's like all in Spanish, and I think he didn't anticipate that I understood it. But it was like, "You're a police officer. You don't just call someone ugly."
Yeah, the police
And
here are so different. It's not like
I didn't respond back, but I got a feeling that if I had, something bad would have happened because there's a lot of corruption, and obviously, so I just let it pass. Then there was an Uber driver who just dropped us like halfway because he didn't want to go out of the city.
I've had Uber issues in South America.
Yeah. But then there are, again, so lovely people that take you in for a few days or invite you to a family gathering.
Or warn you.
Or warn you. Yeah, I had one guy in Valparaiso who just saw that it was going away and was like, hey, you speak English? Yeah. Don't go this way, man. You'll get jacked if you just follow. Go another way.
Yeah, I had the same thing in
And
Paraguay.
something like that is very invaluable. So you have good and bad people in
Yeah.
all of the countries.
And you have good people and bad neighbors. I say favela, I don't know what the actual word is. The bad area of Asuncion. I was walking through, and some guy was like, "Tu habla aquí?" Roughly, he's like, I'm sure he's like, "Do you speak here?" And I said, "Un poquito." He said, "Aquí mucho peligroso," and did the gun symbol. And he said, "Walk away." But that was in the bad neighborhood, and he's still going like, he's looking out for me, even if it's a bad neighborhood. So yeah, it's always the people and places that make it the most memorable as well. It's the people. Like I remember Rio because I got robbed, and that's a person who did it to me. And it's always the people that make the places.
Yeah, I think so too. And obviously I have some awesome memories about hikes that I did alone. But in general, I would agree with your statement that always the people make the place.
Yeah.
Like this hostel I'm staying in, some people that I met and shared this part with for a few weeks have already passed and gone. And I will too soon. But the memories are always with them.
Yeah, the memory of this hostel will probably be the memory of the people.
Yeah.
Like my memory of this hostel would be this.
Right.
So it's always the people that you remember.
Right.
And it changes per country as well, because sometimes there is no English speaking in hostels.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it is just Spanish people in hostels, especially here, especially in south of Brazil, like not Florianopolis, in like Curitiba. Especially in Curitiba, it was Spanish and Portuguese. There was no English. Even the workers don't speak English. And that is the people made the place because they were teaching me. Mm-hmm. So that's my memory of Curitiba is I didn't speak English for 5 days.
Yeah.
Because there was no other choice.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a lovely note to end on, that the people are always the ones that make the place or your experiences worthwhile.
Before you do end though, I do have a question.
Yes.
Is there anything you travel by? Is there like a phrase or, because I have one, is there any phrase that you travel by?
Right. Let me think.
It's a hard question.
Well, one, I don't travel by it, but I conduct my life by it more or less. It's go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Like the Nike thing, just do it, but a little bit different. But not really. That's the only thing I could think of for this question. But obviously you have one. So please share it.
Two. Which by life is happiness is perspective. If you go out looking at, like if I go out and say, I'm not going to enjoy this town, I'm not going to enjoy the town. If you go out saying, I'm going to enjoy this, it's going to be easier to enjoy it because your perspective on it is, it's hard to explain, but happiness is perspective.
Yeah, no, it is.
If you have a bad thing happen to you, like I've been robbed twice on my travels. Yeah, it's shit. But the perspective is, I've learned whatever, get past it. I've been robbed 3 times on my travels, which is great. But the one I try and travel by is, safe is normally pretty boring. Be stupidly careful, or carefully stupid. Depends on how far you want to go either way.
But yeah.
just
I love it.
yeah. I know, a bit different, I guess.
No, I love
But
it.
it's caused some shit. I've been robbed 3 times, so maybe I should be more careful than stupid.
Those will be good stories to tell at some point. Right now they suck.
No, it's fine. I got robbed in Mexico, Rio. My first ever night traveling, I got robbed as well, so it happens. But everyone gets robbed.
Right. So, at this point, I would like to thank you for your time.
That's what, man.
And yeah, safe travels.
No, carefully stupid travels. Because if you do safe stuff, you're never going to have the crazy stories.
All right,
But you can have crazy stories, but
yeah. No, I get you.
yeah, like doing Death Road, it's stupid, but why not? Just go for it.
Just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, man. It's been cool. It's been interesting.